Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So as you can see, no VTuber model for today's video. I'm currently traveling and using the good old potato-powered laptop that can barely handle this setup right here. But oddly enough, this is relevant to today's video. That is having a poor quality laptop, but we'll get into that in just a second. So as you can see, we're going to be talking about some more VTuber drama, specifically people seething over VTubers and providing free content for people like myself. Today, it involves Pipa. It's been a while since we talked about Pipa, but one of her recent tweets really set off someone, and it's hard to believe this is the tweet where she shared a video showing her setup and it's glitching out. Browsers are flashing on and off. There's lights flickering on the screen, and she says, "Why is it doing this?" Now, I can relate to this on a spiritual level. The potato laptop I'm recording this on, there are lights flashing, there's random multicolored lines going across the screen. You can hear it hissing a little bit in the background. It overheats very easily. In fact, it overheated so much a couple trips ago that the glue melted off of the one side of the screen and now it's arced towards me. It looks like a funhouse mirror. It's very, very bizarre. But anyways, you see this tweet and you're like, who could possibly be upset about this? Enter this person. And as you can see, the bio really checks out. And anyone with a hammer and sickle in their username, you know you're about to see some of the most unhinged and ridiculous stuff you will ever see. And of course, checking through their account, there was literally hundreds of tweets and reposts from the last day alone. So I just kind of dipped my toe into their account and found bangers like this, tweeting a pro-communist account, saying in quotes, "better dead than red," and then they say, "okay, get in," which is very ironic because under communism, SpongeBob wouldn't even exist for you to make memes out of, but okay, I guess. Here's another one where they're having a breakdown. They're very upset because Donald Trump did not pass away over the past 24 hours. And in case you are not familiar with that situation, Donald Trump basically didn't post anything for 24 hours, and all the people with TDS had such a breakdown that literally this was the trending tab this morning. People claiming he was gone. And of course, turns out he was just like getting ready to go golfing. So all these people who were celebrating the potential demise and throwing parties and stuff like that, they look not only stupid, but they look like sociopaths who are like throwing a party over their political opponents possibly going away. But anyways, they also reposted this pretty insane stuff. A tweet explaining why Hamas is not a terrorist group. What is this, a Hassan viewer? I think we now have confirmation. But yeah, that's some pretty unhinged stuff. I think you get a little sense of their commie LARP they're doing here. But they hate Pipa probably more than anything, and they've been kind of biting at her ankles for months now to try to get attention, beginning with stuff like this. For example, back in June, calling Pipa a right-winger, saying right-wingers are freaks. Pipa is a right-wing freak that should be deplatformed alongside Kirsha, Rima Evenstar, and False ID. Wow, banger recommendation list right there. 3 VTubers I would recommend wholesale. But as always, everyone who politically disagrees with this person is a freak and a right-winger in their eyes. And of course, you're getting called a freak by a person who's retweeting the most heinous stuff ever, wishing the deaths upon their political opponents, and also having that hammer and sickle in their username. Crazy stuff. But this was a tweet they made on the 29th. Almost got attention, saying, "Then please get smarter, Pipa," because she said, "Do you guys ever worry if you get smarter, your will to live will decrease?" So they are hoping that she loses her will to live. But that didn't get any traction, 0 likes. But eventually they would make a post that would get them the attention they are so desperate to receive, and attention they would get. They would say this, quoting the original post we looked at the start of the video, saying, "I hope your PC dies, you effing freak." Okay, that seems like a bit of a, not a measured response to someone sharing that their PC is going through some troubles. Very aggressive, to the point where some people thought this was a joke. But based on the previous posts we saw and their general nature, and also the future posts we're going to look at, they are not joking. They are 100% angry and seething about this. and people started farming them in the comments. It's very funny. So Smugalana replies with this saying, "You sure showed her. Can't wait to see this on Reddit so I can update it." That post would be, what is it, certified Reddit gold? Is that the metrics they use over there? That one would do numbers on Reddit. Hating on the quote-unquote right-wing VTubers, that's some easy likes over there on that echo chamber filled with some of the most insane people you've ever seen. But here's another reply saying, "I thought this was playful banter, but holy F, you're actually serious. You need to seek mental help. Making that post, then claiming to be a victim when you purposefully trying to pick a fight. Also openly being a Hololive fan as well. Sad, man." And of course, Hololive and Pipa are cool. And also on top of that, yeah, they're dead serious. And now they're playing the victim. So they pick a fight multiple times for months on end. And when they get the attention they were desperately seeking, now they're the victim. Amazing. But they say, yeah, I'm a Hololive fan, not a Pipa fan. I don't like outwardly right-wing edgelord VTubers, which you really lost me on that one. An edgelord. Your whole account is like promoting sympathy towards terrorist organizations or expressing your sadness over your political opponents not dying or wishing low-key threats or encouraging someone to harm themselves like we saw with some of the tweets about Pipa. Like, who's the edgelord here? I don't know. Seems like this is a lot of projection. And here's a response from Pipa in true fashion, completely owned this person with a very simple response. Actually, it's a laptop with the nerd emoji face right there, and ratios them to the Shadow Realm with 8,000 likes versus their 400. And then the original poster says, "Oh, F off, smartass." Dude, this is the smoke you were looking for. Like, are you really that hurt? You're saying all these heinous, aggressive things, but at the end of the day, you get the response you're desperately seeking, and now all of a sudden, you're all upset. What happened? Well, they'll keep going. This person posted a meme saying this person has a hammer and sickle in their username while pointing and laughing at them. And then the user says, "I see the freak has sent her brain-dead fans after me. You asked for the smoke. Smoke you have received. Now stop complaining." But they go further, quoting themselves, saying, "Come on, can we get to 100 replies?" So now they're asking for people to respond to them. And eventually they would add a second quote to their own tweet saying, "The replies on this prove my whole point that she's a far-right dumbass." A lot of name calling, but not a lot of proof of anything they're saying, but that's to be expected with commie LARPers on Twitter.com. But yeah, they asked for responses, then they got responses, and now they're upset that they got responses. Pretty hollow stuff, but they would give examples of some of this dangerous attacks they're receiving. So with a screenshot of some of the replies, they say, "So any normal fan base would probably just ignore or insult a hater without, sending death threats, etc. But certain VTubers' fan bases are not normal." Again, this is the arbiter of what normal is on the internet, and also unironically referring to themselves as a hater. You could just like block her and like not pay attention to her. But the examples they're providing of death threats, for example, I mean, this is what I'm looking at here. Calls Pipa a freak, follows Hololive, LMAO. And then another one says he already did, not sure what it's even referring to. And then there's one saying she doesn't live in a communist country. She could just go get a new one instead of starving to death, referring to the PC having issues. 100% true right there. But here's, of course, their response again. They quote themselves for a third time saying, "Okay, it reached 100 replies. That's what I wanted. I'm muting it. Have fun, dumbasses." Wow. And I just noticed something too. They might have a hammer and sickle in their name, but they don't even have a blue check mark. They are quite literally doing this for the love of the game. They don't even have Twitter Blue to make ad revenue off of rage baiting. So they're just doing this purely for the love of the game, purely for attention. And there is something truly amazing about that. And anyone who says that they're muting something, they're just genuinely like really upset about it. And they're coping and seething, and they're still checking notifications and checking the posts and doing stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you have this Hall of Fame interaction. You could really just pin this one up on the wall, print it out, do what you got to do, because you got someone seeking attention, they get attention, and then they cry. This is the classic Twitter content farming formula right before your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. But for now, that's going to do for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.